Hello and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. In this video, we're going to be taking a further look at Zen Brush 3 for Android. And I just wanted to go ahead and have an in-depth look at some of the functions that the Zen Brush 3 has added for their new app. And so here, as you can see, it has 4 different controls in the front toolbar there. And one is the ink, one is the water, and one is the blotting tool. And also it has the opacity there. And so you can go ahead and set your opacity for each ink, and then you can pick your backgrounds. And so here I wanted to kind of just go through a whole bunch of the backgrounds, and as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different kinds, and you can also look at it in different ways. You can either put it in thumbnail view, or you can put it in a standard view where you scroll up and down and it has the names of the papers. And so here I've picked kind of a clipboard type of a deal. And you can go ahead and set your stylus settings, or you can just set it for touch. And you can also pick your colors. So there's the color picker, and you can pick any of the different colors of ink there. And this little bar that has the drops of water on it, that's your how much water is in your ink. So you can have kind of a dry brush look, which is what I'm playing around with now, or you can have sort of a wet look. And you can also set your brush cursor to have the wireframe on it or to not have the wireframe. You can set several different things for your toolbar where you want it in position. And you can go ahead and save all that. You hit the save button. And this setting right here is kind of like an acrylic ink because it's a dry brush. And then you can go ahead and take your water and go ahead and sort of smear it out and make it look like a really wet ink. And so here I'm just kind of playing around with the background. They have all kinds of different backgrounds. This is kind of a gold one with a black frame, which makes for a really neat look. And I'm just playing around with the size of the brush. You can set the size of the brush and the opacity of the ink. And then I picked a black piece of paper, and you can go ahead and use a really light color on it, and that gives a really neat look that you can kind of make it look luminous, kind of. And it would be kind of sort of like when you use acrylic inks. This gives it kind of an effect of an acrylic ink, I would say. And you just kind of can set the size of the brush too, just like in Zenbrush 1. You can set the size of the brush here and make it smaller or bigger. And then you can go ahead and make it really big. And here I was just trying to see if I could make leaves. And so what I'm doing here is kind of just making individual ones instead of seeing if I could make big blotches of leaves, which you can, but I just wanted to go ahead and put some little marks down and then hit it with some water there and smudge it, and that sort of gives you a leaves kind of effect and gives you that Japanese ink painting look. And so you can go ahead and pick different colors to go on here, and I picked a kind of a burnt sienna. It said red copper color there at the bottom just to add some ground, just gives it kind of a really neat effect. And it looks like the ground there, and then I'm adding some bushes at the bottom of the tree just for some effect, and then signing in. I'm just kind of playing around with all these settings just to show you what you can do with it. And then you can go ahead and save it, and you can save the background, or you can just save the picture if you want to. So here it shows the details of each picture, and I've done several different pictures that I've done in this app here, and it saves it in your gallery. Usually this is on my Samsung S4, so it just goes ahead and saves it in the gallery. And then here I've got kind of a metal background, metal flecked background. It looks like it has gold flecks in it, and so you can do some kind of really neat stuff on it. You can pick a lighter color. This is a violet color here, and you can go ahead and just kind of make quick sketches, and it's just kind of a lot of fun. I really enjoy this kind of an app. It's just kind of quick for sketching, and plus you don't have to get inks out. You don't have to get inks on your paintbrush. You don't have to fool with any of that stuff. It's just a quick little app that mimics ink, and it does it quite well, actually. This is a pretty neat app for that. It only does, of course, one kind of art medium, but it's really neat for that. So here I was just trying to go ahead and make a moon, and you really have to work at making a round shape, and it would be kind of nice if they might add some shapes to this app where you could do a few things like that maybe, but all you have to do is just kind of make a crescent moon. And here I'm just kind of adding not a watercolor, an ink wash to the bottom of the painting there, just to give it kind of a moonlit look. And there's like an old kid's swing hanging on the tree or something there. And so you can just kind of play around and just see what you can do with it. It's kind of a little relaxing app. And so here I'm using the gallery function in the S4 on the tab S4 window there for a photo reference, because this app doesn't have photo reference window on it. So I'm using the tab S4 function to have a floating window so I can use a photo reference. And I just thought I would see if I could do a palm tree or something on that order, just kind of use something as a quick reference for sketching. And so I was just sort of playing around with the different water settings and the size of the pins and stuff. It would be like your pin pressure, the opacity, and things like that if you were doing this traditionally. And I'm just playing around with the brown ink, just trying to get kind of some clouds in the sky there. See if I could get that look. And then I'm using the blotting paper function to just make it have kind of an edge to the clouds there, and make some highlights by erasing. And I just wanted to see how far you could take this app, see what all you could do here. So I'm just playing around with trying to get a palm tree look here. And this is just a quick sketch. You can actually take your time and make it look a little bit more realistic, and just play around with it and see what all you can come up with. It gives some really neat, sketchy looking effects here, and I like that a lot. I like the look of pen and ink and the sketchiness that you can get with it sometimes. And so this app is really well suited for that. I like that it does that. And it does do one thing that you couldn't do if you were doing this traditionally, and that's erase. So if you mess up with real ink, then you can't erase it. But with this app, it's nice. You can actually erase it and start over. So I mean, that's one advantage to definitely using this app, that you wouldn't have if you were using traditional type mediums. And this is probably really good practice, because if you can get really good using this app, then it will probably help you if you use traditional materials, and it will give you an idea of how to do them, and without messing up so much. You can mess up as much as you want on this app, and then once you learn how to do this, well, you can go ahead and just use the traditional materials, and you won't be messing up as much. At least that's my theory. So here I just went ahead and decided that I would just start over again. So I went ahead and erased it, and you just hit the little trash can thing, and it does a water ripple and erases your picture, which I think is a really neat little effect for this program. And so I went ahead and just kind of did some really thin clouds in the background, and added a little bit of some watery opaque ink, but again, you can kind of erase it out. Now, you can blot it out right quick. If it's wet and you're working with really wet inks, you can blot some of that out quickly, but it will also kind of stain your paper. So this gives it a pretty close to realistic look when you use the blotting function on this app. And here I'm just kind of working a little bit more on the palm tree, just seeing, trying to get a silhouette kind of look there, just seeing what kind of a look that one can actually end up with. And then you can go ahead and save it, and then you can export it out or save it as a JPEG or a PNG file. So this is the end of part 2 of my review of the Zenbrush apps. And in part 3, I'm going to go ahead and show you what Zenbrush 2 looks like for Windows. They didn't make Zenbrush 2 for Android, so I don't have that one for Android, but I do have it for Windows. So if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them down below, and I will catch you later.